The dust clung to her worn sandals, each step a heavy testament to a life she hadn't chosen. Alara, a name that once whispered of starlight and destiny, now carried the weight of a silence that echoed louder than any scream. In her village, a place bound by ancient traditions and the rhythm of the earth, a woman's worth was meticulously measured. It was found not in her spirit or her intellect, but in the cradle, in the sacred promise of new life. Yet, for Alara, that promise was a barren field, a whispered curse that followed her like an inescapable shadow. And now, that shadow, long and cold, had finally consumed her, pushing her towards a fate she could never have imagined. She remembered the day with a chilling clarity, every detail etched into her memory as if by a sculptor's chisel. The air in their small home had been thick, not with the usual scent of wood smoke and baking bread, but with unspoken words and the palpable scent of fear. Her mother, her eyes red-rimmed and perpetually averted, had gently braided Alara's long hair, a gesture of tenderness that felt paradoxically like a final, heartbreaking farewell. Her father, a man usually defined by his booming laughter and the reassuring strength of his hands, sat hunched by the hearth, his shoulders carrying the immense weight of a decision he believed was not only inevitable, but necessary for their family's survival and honor. His voice, when it finally came, was raspy with a pain that mirrored her own, perhaps even surpassed it. "No man will take you, Alara," he had murmured, the words falling like stones. "Not when you cannot give him sons, daughters. It is the way of our people. It is the way it has always been." These words, uttered with such profound sorrow, were not just spoken. They were a brand, searing themselves into her very soul. She was, in their desperate eyes, a burden, a fundamental flaw in the intricate fabric of their lineage. And the only solution, the only path they could conceive in their profound, albeit misguided, love, was to sell her. They assured her, with voices strained by their own conviction, that it was not into slavery. Instead, it was into a life where her perceived inability to bear children would not shame their family, where perhaps, just perhaps, she could find a different purpose, a different kind of belonging. It was a transaction born not of malice, but of the crushing weight of tradition, the suffocating grip of superstition, and a love so profound it had become tragically misguided. The journey that followed was a blur, a disorienting kaleidoscope of sun-baked roads stretching endlessly before her and starlit nights that offered little comfort. Each mile that passed widened the chasm between her past, a world of familiar dust and quiet expectations, and an unknown future shrouded in the mists of uncertainty. She clung, almost desperately, to a small wooden bird, a cherished gift from her grandmother. Its smooth, worn surface, softened by countless touches, was the only tangible link to a world that had, in its own way, cast her out. Her heart, she felt, was a stone in her chest, heavy with a grief so profound that it had left no tears left to shed. She was, in essence, a commodity, a living testament to a perceived failure, traded for a sum that would, they hoped, ease her family's burdens. The men who escorted her were gruff, certainly, but not unkind. Their silence, a heavy cloak, mirrored her own. They spoke, in hushed tones, of a distant city, of a wealthy merchant who sought a companion, not a wife in the traditional sense, but someone to manage his sprawling household, to bring order and grace to his grand estate. The details, however, remained vague, shrouded in the mystery of a world she had never known, a world that felt impossibly far from her own. When they finally arrived, the city was a vibrant explosion of sounds and smells, a stark and exhilarating contrast to the quiet, dusty village she had left behind. Tall buildings reaching for the heavens pierced the sky, and the streets below teemed with people, their faces a mosaic of unfamiliar expressions, each a story untold. She was led through bustling markets, alive with the cries of vendors and the scent of exotic spices, past ornate gates that hinted at hidden opulence, until they reached a sprawling estate. Its ancient walls were draped in ivy, a verdant embrace, and its gardens were a riot of color, a symphony of blossoms. This, she was told, was the home of Liam, Her mind, conditioned by the harsh realities of her journey, expected a stern, imposing figure, perhaps an old man seeking a quiet end to his days, a mere caretaker for his twilight years. Instead, she met eyes that held a surprising depth of kindness, a gentle curiosity that immediately disarmed her. Liam was not old. He was a man in the prime of his life, with a gentle smile that reached his eyes and a quiet demeanor that belied his obvious wealth and influence. He looked at her not with pity, nor with the calculating gaze of a buyer assessing his new acquisition, but with a genuine curiosity that seemed to see beyond her circumstances, directly into her soul. He spoke softly, introducing himself, offering her a seat, a cup of cool water that tasted like salvation. He asked about her arduous journey, about the simple beauty of her village, about her interests, her quiet passions. Crucially, he didn't ask about her past, about the reason she had been brought to him, about the societal judgment that had defined her. He simply listened, his gaze steady and accepting, creating a space where she felt, for the first time in years, safe enough to speak without fear of judgment. She found herself, to her own astonishment, telling him about her profound love for stories, about the quiet, breathtaking beauty of the village sunsets, about her deep, unspoken longing for a life where she could simply be, unburdened by expectation. Days, marked by the gentle rhythm of the sun and moon, turned into weeks, and weeks in turn blossomed into months. Within the sanctuary of Liam's home, Alara began to find a purpose, a quiet rhythm that resonated with her spirit. She managed his household with an efficiency born not of obligation, but of quiet dedication, her hands finding comfort in the repetitive, grounding tasks of daily life. Yet it was in the evenings, when Liam would return from his work, the day's demands shed like a cloak, that her world truly began to expand, to unfurl like a delicate blossom. He would read to her from ancient texts, their words echoing through the quiet rooms. They would discuss philosophy, grappling with profound ideas, and he would share captivating tales of distant lands, painting vivid pictures with his words. He saw her intellect, a sharp and curious mind that had long been overlooked. He saw her quiet strength, a resilience forged in the fires of adversity. He saw her compassionate spirit, a gentle empathy that touched everything she did. He saw Alara, not the barren woman, not the traded commodity, not the societal outcast, but a soul worthy of profound respect and deep affection. He never once mentioned children, never hinted at the crushing societal expectation that had driven her from her home. He simply cherished her presence, her quiet laughter, the profound comfort of their shared silences, a testament to a connection that transcended words. He saw her, truly saw her, and in that seeing, she began to see herself anew. One evening, as the moon cast long, ethereal shadows across the meticulously tended garden, Liam confessed his feelings. He spoke of a love that transcended the narrow confines of societal norms, a connection that had blossomed in the most unexpected of circumstances, defying all logic and expectation. He saw her as his equal, his true partner, the unwavering companion of his heart. And Alara, who had believed herself forever unlovable, forever marked by a perceived deficiency, found herself enveloped in a love so profound, so unconditional, that it began to heal the deepest, most ancient wounds of her past. They married in a quiet, intimate ceremony, a union built not on obligation or societal pressure, but on mutual respect, unwavering understanding, and a love that, against all odds, defied every expectation. She had, at long last, found her home, her acceptance, her true worth, not in the promise of progeny, but in the unwavering gaze of a man who saw her for who she truly was, a complete and cherished individual. Life with Liam became a vibrant tapestry, intricately woven with threads of pure joy, profound peace, and an enduring sense of belonging she had never known. She had, finally, found the happiness she believed was forever denied to her, a happiness that felt almost too fragile to be real. And then the impossible happened. The miracle. It began subtly, a faint, almost imperceptible shift in her body, a whisper of a feeling she had never known, a sensation both foreign and deeply familiar. Disbelief, a stubborn companion, warred fiercely with a fragile, nascent hope. She had been told repeatedly, emphatically, that it was impossible. Her body, her very being, had been deemed incapable, a vessel that could not fulfill its supposed purpose. Yet, with each passing day, the signs grew stronger, more insistent, undeniably real. The pronouncements of the village elders, the cruel whispers that had once defined her, the unyielding declarations of her barrenness, they all began to fade into the background, dissolving into insignificance as a new, astonishing truth began to dawn, bright and undeniable. When the healer, with a look of profound wonder, finally confirmed it, a gasp escaped Ilara's lips, a sound of pure, unadulterated astonishment. She was pregnant. The impossible had not only become reality, it had become a living, breathing testament to something far greater than human understanding. Tears, hot and cleansing, streamed down her face. Tears not of sorrow, but of overwhelming joy, of boundless gratitude, of a profound and humbling sense of destiny unfolding. Liam's reaction was a beautiful, raw mixture of stunned silence, followed by a radiant, tearful smile that illuminated his entire face. He held her close, his embrace a silent, powerful testament to a love that had already given her everything, and now had been blessed with the unimaginable, the truly miraculous. The news spread, not as a scandal or a curiosity, but as a tale of profound wonder, a living legend. The woman who was once deemed barren, who was sold because of that very judgment, had not only found a love that defied all conventions, but against all odds, was now carrying new life. It became a powerful testament to the transformative power of acceptance, to the unwavering strength of a love that dared to see beyond superficial flaws and societal decrees, and to the mysterious, often unpredictable ways of the universe. Ilara, once a symbol of societal judgment and perceived failure, became instead a beacon of hope, a living embodiment of resilience. Her child, born into a world of unconditional love and boundless acceptance, was a living miracle, a profound testament that true worth is not and never should be measured by what one can produce or conform to, but by the love one gives and the love one receives. She had found her true family, not by bloodline or tradition, but by the deep, resonant connection of the heart, and in doing so, had unlocked a destiny far grander, far more meaningful than any she could have ever imagined for herself.